Oh,
Hi everyone, Destiny Faye here, and I have Samyo Dalgarno with me from the for the Understanding Money Conference, and we're going to be talking a little bit about some of what's going to be happening there. And Samyo is our magic website and media and video guy, as well as many other things. So when you're ready, Samyo, feel free to just explain a little bit about yourself to us, please.
excellent. Yes. Yeah, I'm just the multi-talented dude that does the bits and pieces that people need done. Very long story short, my name's Samyo, but Destiny already said that. I do a lot of work with Kelly with One Purse, One Planet since meeting her late last year. And I've very excited to be invited further down the rabbit hole and get involved with a lot more of what One Purse, One Planet is doing, and also New You, which is about youth in the real world. And the New You Understanding Money Conference is coming up later this month. And I'll be down there shooting some video and generally just helping out. So there, what else do you need, Destiny? On the upside, I do have a background in finance. I spent the first 10 years of my working career working for what was the Bank of New South Wales, which gives my age away just a little bit. And I also spent time managing finance in the car industry. So it was very interesting.
Perfect. Thank you. And this is our second interview based on technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. 1 minute 28 is all we lasted last time. We'll see if we can crack that this time. You've got to love the technical.
Because it was such a good interview that we had as well. So let's see if we can call upon some of that energy, but I'm sure it'll be just as good, if not better, this time round.
Oh, that's nice. You're so polite.
I'm honest. I'm really honest.
Excellent. I'll take that compliment. I'll ride that puppy.
So the first question that I would like you to share a little bit about is, from your experience, where does cash and money come from?
Well, I would like to say it comes from the money tree in my front yard, but that's not true at all. Having said that, spending the first 10 years of my working career in the bank, I kind of understand a little bit about where it comes from. But I have to say it wasn't until after I got out of the bank and out of the finance game and wandered down the various conspiracy rabbit holes that I really did understand where money comes from. And you know, there's this old saying of money doesn't grow on trees, and people are happy to say that, and they're right. It doesn't grow on trees. It's just made up out of zeros and ones and comes actually from even less than a tree. So whilst, yeah, our money system is quite interesting, and I think that's one of the things that, or one of the things that I think people should value a little bit more in educating themselves around this issue, because when you understand where money comes from and how it's actually made up, you understand what is the root cause of many of the problems that we have with our global economies, particularly now that all the currencies are fiat currencies. They're no longer backed by gold or silver. The fact that, you know, banks charge interest and create money out of thin air is why we need to have inflation, because if we don't have inflation, economies fail, and all the rest of it. So, you know, where does money come from? Noughts and zeros made up on the computer. And agreements. That's really the biggest thing. Money is an agreement. For example, you know, oops, my wallet's here somewhere. Oh, here we go. You know, we agree that one of these orange things will buy me, well, it won't even buy me a pack of cigarettes these days, but we agree that, you know, we exchange this plastic piece of, well, plastic piece of something that's orange, and we've agreed that it's worth X amount of dollars. And, you know, it really is that. It used to be backed by gold and silver. It's no longer backed by gold and silver. It's just purely an agreement. And agreements can be changed at any minute. So I think it's important for people to understand where it comes from, because it's such an essential part of our life. But, you know, people don't seem to think about these things. So, yes. So in my experience, where does money come from? Wherever I can get it. Legally, of course.
Yeah, well, that's a very interesting explanation. So thank you for that one. And I think it's quite unique as well. The next question that I have for you is how do you feel that the Understanding Money Conference and the programs that it's raising funds for our youth around schooling and money and how to support them to be empowered is going to affect both our youth and also our future?
Oh, I mean, look, clearly that, our youth are the future. They are the ones that are going to inherit the mess that we've left, or benefit from the good decisions that we make. I think the conference is I mean, in the beginning, when Kelly mentioned the conference to me, I sort of went, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But the more I got involved with New You and the more I looked at her motivation behind why she was doing it, the more I realized it really is an essential thing, because most people really don't understand where money comes from. It turns up in their pay packets. I mean, we used to get it in cash. Now it just appears on their computer. And with the likes of, the cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, which are definitely, I suspect, will be with us long into the future. I recently actually had to go about educating myself a bit more in understanding cryptocurrencies. And on one hand, I had complicated it in my head more than it is in reality. But I went to it was an evening presentation on cryptocurrencies, and just a couple of hours of education just really managed to create a shift in my own thinking and my own understanding, in particular with cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, in actually understanding how they work and in understanding what it is about the blockchain that makes them secure, and recognizing in what was being presented that these cryptocurrencies very much look like they will be the future. It's a currency that seems to be more controlled by the community and not as easily manipulated like our current currencies are. So yeah, education, for me, it's all about education. I mean, our education system, truly isn't about teaching people how to think. It's about teaching people how to remember stuff. And I think we would be failing ourselves and our children if we don't start to do something about that, because there's no point having a planet full of trained monkeys when you actually need a planet full of visionaries to solve the problems that the previous monkeys created. Yes,
very true.
Well, we'd like to think we're evolved monkeys, but I don't know how far we've actually evolved.
A little bit of a giggle about that one. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot to comment about that. The next question. Yeah.
How do you believe your life would be different if you had something like this in your youth? Look, it would have made a big difference. And like, times have changed. When I was 16 was when I first joined the Bank of New South Wales. And, to be honest, for the first 10 years, money was just a pain in the ass, right? Because I had to make the stuff balance every afternoon. So, and, this was back in the days, well, we had calculators, but they were fairly basic. But we were still doing ledgers by hand. We still had passbooks, and you had to be able to actually calculate big, long numbers in your head. And it was many years after I got out of the bank that I recognized that my relationship to money was predicated on this idea that money was simply a pain in the ass. So if I'm wanting to get wealthy or make some more money, I needed to look at my relationship to it, and that was not a good one to start out with. So yeah, it all comes back to education and the value that we need to place on education. So, to have had a mentor or something like that. I remember last week in the conversation, you put in something about having mentors and money mentors, and that would have been a great thing, because, I was in the bank. I started off in Brisbane. I ended up working on the Sunshine Coast in the early 80s, and places like Kawana, which are now, $1 million properties and stuff like that. Now, you could have picked up a block of land on the creek in the swamp for about $3,000. Everyone thought you were mad, but that particular block of land now is worth, $1 million. So to have somebody who would have been able to mentor me and educate me, because let's face it, I was in the banking industry, so I had access to finance, and it was a reasonably well-paying job at the time. And to have someone who could have, guided me a bit more would have made a lot more sense. So, yeah, education, learning stuff as opposed to remembering.
Yeah, indeed. It's I guess it's just the next phase of what we're doing to be able to evolve both for our youth and for ourselves as well. So it's something that's very important, and I'm very grateful that it's something that's happening and going to continue to happen much quicker as well. So since you've got the list of questions there,
I do got the list of questions. Sammy, I can get a question 4. Is what do you think in your youth would have been the most excited about to come to this event? Well, okay, it is 2 different times. I suppose for me, we didn't, it was before computers. So I think, to me, actually, the most excited thing that I want to come to this event about, again, is about cryptocurrencies. I want to understand them a little bit more, and actually ask some questions. I know some of the guys that are going to be there, and I would love to, hear some of the questions that are being asked, and I'll have some of my own that I might ask quietly on the side, because there are a whole bunch of things that are happening, new apps, new ideas, which are, using cryptocurrencies as a part of their funding model. So, this is very much the future, and I think it's exciting, to be at the shiny edge of something that's actually going on. So to me, if I was a young person looking at why do I want to go to this money conference, that's probably the thing you should be looking at. If I was to use a should in there, is cryptocurrencies are the way of the future. The system is changing. Our current economic and financial systems are very much broken. They, they've been subject to greed and abuse for the last 100 odd years. And, it's our youth that are going to have to deal with the ramifications of that. The global financial collapse of 2008 seems to have almost been forgotten, but the underlying, if you like, instabilities in the systems still remain there. I mean, the system is based on agreements. It's based on fluff and air and nothing real underneath. So, people need to understand, and cryptocurrencies certainly offer a way for, well, from my understanding, the cryptocurrencies offer a way for the community to kind of take back a bit of control over a game that has been very much out of their hands. So that's me putting my conspiracy hat on, but it's not so much a conspiracy theory, really. It's very much what's happening. When you really understand the banking and finance sector, where it's come from, fractional lending, all of that stuff, you get to see that the whole thing is just built on sand. So, cryptocurrencies offer us a way forward. Anyway, that's one of my things. So, understanding money, what's not to be good about that?
Yes. What's not to be good about that?
Yeah, I lost it at the end there. I got off on a bit of a rant.
That's totally fine. It's good. It's authentic, and it's what I guess we're all wanting to talk about, and that's what I love about these sorts of platforms and places. It's where stuff that needs to be spoken about can get spoken about, and we can become our own media in a sense. And that's why I'm really grateful for these sorts of platforms to be able to use it out there and have these discussions that are so important for us to have, and have this alternative education for both ourselves and our youth as well. So it's been a pleasure once again. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Samyo, he is a supporter of New You, the Real World, as well as the extraordinaire of the web, the video, and the media, and he's a bit of a can do it all type of a person. So it's been an an amazing chat, and I look forward to seeing you at the event and getting to ask lots of questions with you. So if anybody's watching, if you've got any questions about the event, primarily about the event, make sure to comment them below. It is on our Facebook page, New You, the Real World, and also the conference is on the 26th of August in Eagleby. So all the details are above this video to purchase your tickets. There is only 90 tickets available for purchase, and that also comes with a free ticket for youth. So if you're an adult thinking of wanting to understand and money or anything else around finances, or if you're just wanting to get some inspiration about a lot of the things that are happening in the financial world and about the, I guess, business world as well, there will be quite a lot of fantastic speakers coming along, and make sure you bring a youth along as well, so that we not only benefiting ourselves, but we're benefiting our future too. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Samyo, as well. Have a wonderful morning, evening, or night, wherever you are.
I'll go back to work.
Enjoy.
Yeah.